time for Pucknology. Pucknology after dark. Oh my.
Oh my, if you do not have heavy breathing or a migraine or think you're gonna have a heart attack, you're not living right now. And we got maybe 6 more of these to go, guys. This is gonna be insane. Holy crap. Welcome to this edition of Pucknology After Dark, following a Sharks 4-3 victory over the Los Angeles Kings in Game 1 of the Western Conference first round. If you want to be a part of the show, or you can join the Chomp conversation, you're welcome, Gen X. You can use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark. You can also tweet us, and also on the YouTube, you can definitely sit in the Google chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button while you're there as well. With us tonight is fellow
Hi.
Gentry Alexander checking in over there. We have Chris JWS.
What's up?
And joining us from Los Angeles, the return, very nice beard going already, from Randall Hahn.
What's going on, guys?
It is an insane day of hockey. I can't believe this one. Wow. I mean, where do you start with this one? I mean, it's just been a crazy night. Make sure you get both of us in here. Jen, what's the one thing you want to say about this game?
I was not playoff ready. My body was not ready. It's been a year off, and I was having such bad anxiety that I was doing sit-ups during the last 5 minutes of the third. It was
You were not in playoff condition?
No, I was not in playoff condition. It's been a while. So I was doing sit-ups to calm the anxiety, but that last minute and a half just got my blood going, and then after the relief of the win, I was sitting there going, wow, we're back in the playoffs, and that's a good way to start the series.
Randall, I think we should have a, how they have for all those medical ads. Side effects of Sharks playoffs includes heavy breathing, sweating, nausea, and
Excessive alcohol.
yes, that too. Randall, bud, good evening to you. Good to see you again. What did you take off of this? Initial thoughts tonight from this victory?
Tonight's game was everything I expected from this game. I mean, LA came out just throwing their bodies around, but, a typical Sharks fashion, we take a lead in a game and the LA Kings come back and tie it quick, and then we let up a shorthanded goal. I mean, like every other playoff that's happened, that's the game-winning goal is a shorthanded goal. But that goal by Thomas Hurdle was the goal of the game, in my opinion. It was incredible to see these guys come out tonight. It's just game one, as we know from years past, nothing to be excited about. But to get that first win on the road and just to see those Kings fans file out crying when last night they were so happy, it was great to see, and especially being in LA wearing teal, just being the only guy wearing teal, it's so awesome.
Hell yeah, you better rock that teal, bud. Awesome. Chris, hey bud, good to see you. What did you take from tonight?
Dude, my heart is still just
right?
Dude, I've been drinking since it's ended. Oh my gosh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
I've said this since probably almost after every Kings game this season. I really wish I could be an impartial observer of this series because it's just so good. These teams are so evenly matched. The rivalry is real. You can see it when they play. Great game. Even if the Sharks lost, I would still say this. That was a great game. The refs, we'll leave that for another day. But man, good game by the Sharks. Good game by the Kings. This is just game one, folks. This is just game one.
Yes, there's 6 more of these crazy games, and I think it reminds me a little bit of 2011 when we played Detroit in the conference semis, how each game was so heavily battled, and I think this is going to be one hell of a series, no matter what happens.
I just wanted to point out that I was really glad that game one was a grinding match as opposed to like, let's all remember the 2014 series where the first two games were complete blowouts with the Sharks leading 6-3 and 7-2. The fact that they were able to pull off a game one on the road in a one-goal game victory and play hard and play to your game and not play to your opponent's, physical, play out of emotion. But the Sharks played it smart, and they got a good bounce, and guess what? It counted good for us. And I think that's what the Sharks needed. And if they can just keep duplicating that, tighten up a little bit on the defense in game two, I think, we're going to have a good series. It's not going to be done within the first four. It's not going to be done within the first five. But if you play as you did tonight, but a little bit tighter, we're going to have a great series.
This is a point that we've said on the show time and again. Like, the Kings will try to lure you into that physical game because they're a great possession team and a great physical team. If they can get you into the physical game, that's what they'll eat you alive in possession. And that's why the Sharks just need to... The Kings will hit you. Let it roll off, return the physicality, but don't get caught up in that. Just play your game, play hard, drive to the net, get shots on net. That was the key tonight, is the Sharks kept focus.
Randall, what did you take from that? I mean, they seemed like they had an answer for whatever LA was bringing to them.
Yeah, we played that well our last home game. It was a good win. I think that fourth line was really key early in the game. Tommy Wingles took a couple really big hits early in the game. Nick Spalling did draw that first early penalty on Kopitar, and Belsky got that quick power play goal. I mean, to start a series off on your first power play, first shot of the series, you're scoring a goal like that. That's huge, especially to tie the game early. Granted, our power play wasn't up to par tonight, allowing that shorthand goal, but that power play was so strong during the regular season. That's going to be key for us, and also the penalty kill, because we weren't very good at that all season. But, the special teams are going to play a big part, but the goaltending is another huge part, and Marty Jones stepped it up in that third period.
Absolutely, especially late in that game where LA was just taking shots and shots. I don't know how the hell it's not tied and we're waiting to go into overtime right now, because Marty Jones just played unreal, especially in the third period, and keeping out shot after shot. And you know what? Also, great blocking by Chris Tierney, Logan Couture. I mean, they really stepped it up tonight.
Oh yeah, and you got to also, and I just want to point out that there was a save that Jones made that was very reminiscent of Game 1 of the season opener that he made off of Toffoli. It was just a crisp pad save, and you could just see that's what sucked the energy out of the bandwagon Staples Center, and it was completely silent after that.
Yeah. But special teams, Chris, kind of as we kind of wrap around this thing, I've said it before many times in the show. 2013, when they swept Vancouver, they definitely dominated power play wise, and something just didn't seem to be there except for that first power play tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the numbers, LA has the advantage in the special teams department, but I think the Sharks were effective enough. They basically played to a draw on special teams, and I don't think the other power plays were not good. I think they moved the puck, they got some shots. They are good. The Kings are good on the penalty kill, and they are tight in the playoffs, so I wouldn't read too much into it. They got a goal. I think that was 1 for 4, I believe, at the end of the night. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, Sharks were 1 for 4. LA was 1 for 3.
Yeah, they were 1 for 4, so they were effective. 25%. That's a good night on the power play. Not so great night on the penalty kill, although those first two penalties just such weak calls. But you
need to go on a ref rant.
I don't need to go on a ref rant yet. It didn't cost us the game. If it cost us the game, I'd probably be ranting about the refs right now, because between those weak calls, that waved off goal, the refs need to step up. You know, like if anyone needs to step up in game 2, it's the refs. That was terrible, just terrible, or as Charles Barkley would say, terrible.
Yeah, the refs maybe weren't up to par, but you also got to think of it this way: it's a chippy game. It's a playoff game. Everybody's out there and they're nervous and they're playing hard. And this is the first playoff game for these refs too. They're trying to get a feel for the series, and there could be some soft calls too. Some people would say that Kopitar interference early was a soft call. If you look at it, he took down Spalding, but overall it was an evenly called game in my opinion. Yeah, they missed a goal, but it didn't hurt us in the end. But the refs will get a better feel for the series as it goes along, and we're not going to get the same refs the whole series either. But overall we got the W, so that's really all I'm taking out of it.
And that's the fortunate thing. Sorry, you were going to say
No,
something.
I just want to say for the next game, can we get Wes McCauley in?
He's the bomb.
Is that dramatic ref?
Yes.
You know what? It would, to be honest, it would fit.
Can we meme that, please? Dramatic ref.
Yeah.
It's like dramatic gopher from 10 years ago.
Yes. Call the ice stand. We have a goal.
Oh, Chivo, tell me you got that. Please tell me you got that for
Please
for
mash
Chris.
that up with dramatic gopher. I would love you forever, Chivo.
Oh, you can, Chivo.
For those of you who are new viewers, Chester Chivo is our resident meme expert / photoshopper, along with Generation X. So please, I hope one of you guys caught that.
Yes. So, looking at all this tonight, I was kind of concerned about the face-off win percentage, and going through it, Jumbo had an unreal 89%. Marlowe had 71, but then Pavs 43, Logan 45, Wardo had 62, and Tierney did essentially 1 out of 3. So, I mean, some guys were good, some guys weren't on task tonight, and face-off wise, and it cost them, I think, some chances on the power play too.
Also, but you know what? But if you put all the face-offs all together, I think the Sharks were up 56%. So I mean, not bad. And we were seventh in the league last year in face-offs, and the Kings were 11th. And sometimes it showed, and I think it proved critical on that first power play goal from Joe Pavelski. It was just a simple, one-timer from the circle, and it goes past quick, and right there, the momentum shifted, and we had a game after that.
Also, Burns, that was one off the face-off. I think it deflected off a defender in front, but that was right off a face-off win. So the Kings actually they were up 8 face-offs after the first period, and in the end they were only up 5. So really, the first period was bad for the Sharks in face-offs, but they managed to step up their game and they won the last 2 periods. So. I agree. It's critical possession, but the Sharks did manage to make some adjustments there, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, and that fourth goal, I mean, it was off the icing call, and then we get the face-off down in their zone, and then we got the wraparound goal. I mean, every one of those goals, we had bodies in front of the net. Even when we won the draw, we had a lot of traffic. Like LA had 2 goals off our own bodies and 1 pretty goal, but all of our goals were just hard grinding goals with guys in front of the net, and that's off the face-off primarily too.
And that's totally fine. You don't need to have the fancy, go viral video goal in the playoffs. You just need to get the goals. It could be dirty. It could be reachy ugly. You just get in there, get dirty, and get in there and just get it past the goaltender. Absolutely, because when do we see a super fancy goal in the playoffs? We really don't, unless it's something that was hard-working. It's something like that's going to take this team far. And I think they're realizing, and I think it started tonight, as to how this team is going to go a long way with how they're playing throughout the third period. I thought there was a chance to get that team, get LA shut down, and they did fairly well with it, even with that mad rush in the third.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, we're not going to be the Sidney Crosby highlight reel breakaway goal, type of team, what this team is going to have to win this series by is lucky bounces and, and like and just pretty much sheer dumb luck and being grittier than the other team. I mean, that you got to give it to Pavelski. He did that. Like, I didn't even think that was a goal on that wraparound to begin the third period, but you know what? It held up to be the game winner, and that's the type of goal that you need. You're not going to do, the first goal was like nice. It was, a simple one-timer off of the power play, and, you tie it. Good for you. Then Hurdle's goal to respond to that short-handed goal was the one that was, to me, the pivotal one, because it was responsive to a goal, and it was going to the net. It was Ward just throwing it at the net, and it just got that lucky bounce, and Hurdle just finds it, and it goes through 5-hole on quick. So, reminds me of Sochi.
Yeah, like they like Danny Heatley was saying years ago, like it's the greasy goals. It's those goals in front of the net, the dirty, nasty, greasy. No one really wants to touch it. Those goals, those ones that they have to take punishment for. That's what wins it. I mean, you have some pretty goals, but for every highlight reel goal, you're gonna have 9 other that are just dirty, nasty, getting down with it in the paint, making it happen down there. So yeah, that was the difference. And I was looking at the numbers. Joe Thornton, for the first time in a long time, does not get a point in a Sharks win, but he helped drive possession all night long. He was a big part of what was going right with the Sharks tonight. What do you guys think about that?
Well, Joe had a couple of miscues tonight, I think, on that shorthanded goal. He wasn't back-checking his heart. He also got to take into effect. They were on the ice for a long time on that power play. But Joe's one of those guys where, he's on the ice and, he just makes everybody else more comfortable and want to play harder. He's such an important guy out there. I mean, all the players feed off him, and just going back to those dirty goals, I don't think Joel Ward was signed by this team to score an in-between-the-leg top-shelf goal. Joel Ward showed exactly what he's on this team for, and that was on that Hurdle goal. And he's a playoff performer, and he's shown that in the past. And, that showed tonight. He had a great game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say Jumbo had an okay game. It could have been a better game. It just seemed, something wasn't off. But that's I want to say Jumbo being Jumbo, but he's had a slip up here and there, and
You know what? I'm sure Jumbo's going to have nothing to worry about. I think this was a down game for him, but here's the thing. The depth came through for the Sharks. You had Ward coming through. I mean, it reminds me of when Ward scored the overtime game winner for the Capitals against Boston, the year after Boston won the Cup, and sent the Capitals to the next round, and it upset that series. I think that's why you brought Joel Ward in, because he's that sneaky guy, but he gets into those, the greasy, dirty areas, and he sets up plays. He'll get you success, and I think and this is his type of series. This isn't gonna be a pretty series. It's gonna be grinding, and you need grinders. So this could be Joel Ward's series to shine.
I think Jumbo would take not getting a single point the whole series as long as they take the series also. He doesn't care if he scores points. He just cares about this team winning.
Yeah, exactly. He will get his points. I pointed out a stat last show. He had 8 points in 5 games against the Kings this season. He's been, he was 82 for 82 in points. He's going to get his own. And if somehow the Sharks win without him getting points, that's fine too, because he could score 0 points, but he's drawing Drew Doughty. He's drawing all the guys who are going to be trying to stop him. So that opens up opportunities for the rest of the team. Looks like Eric has the scoring chances stat up. So I sent this to Eric, and this is scoring chances for the night right here. So especially after the first period, this was pretty lopsided. But the Sharks got more chances, 30-29 on the Kings. You can see they were parked in front of the net all night long. They were getting their chances, and that's the big thing, is that early on the Kings were controlling play in somewhat, but the Sharks, they were getting in front of the net. They were getting those chances on quick, and that's going to be a huge thing in this game. That's what we talk. We come back to the theme: greasy goals. This is what we're talking about here. You see those, there's a bunch of dots right in front of the net right there, and they're hammering quick.
Yeah, just putting pressure on that LAD. I mean, you know how strong they are, but no goalie likes to have bodies in front of them. No goalie likes to get pushed around, having guys in the crease.
Especially quick.
Especially quick. He'll take hacks at guys back in the legs, and it makes guys like Milan Lucic have to, maybe take a penalty down low that he doesn't want to have to take, or like Kopitar taking a penalty, which he could be up for the Lady Byng any year. He doesn't take penalties, and for him to take a penalty which leads to a goal, that just shows what traffic, even if it doesn't lead to a goal initially, can cause later in the game. I mean, it can only help your team unless you're not going to back check. But we have more speed on this team than we've had in years, and the guys really back check. Braun will go down the goal line, and he's the first guy back.
Yeah, and that's the commitment to being hungry and wanting to win, is how these guys are just playing back checking. Jumbo's been really good at it this year too. Is just going back and trying to get back into defend, making sure that odd man rush doesn't occur or it's somehow broken up by oncoming forwards or defense. It's really been key. Polak, I think, has noticed it too. He's been really kind of pinching up a little bit too, I would say, Gent, with him, and he's been getting back. I mean, he hasn't been getting cut, and that was the defensive core that we were concerned about, after the deadline and going into this postseason.
I think Polak, in many ways, he's also known as, he's been known as a secret weapon for a lot of defensive cores, going deep into the playoffs. And with Polak, I remember watching a podcast with Steve Dangle, and he says that a lot of the times that when he was playing for the Maple Leafs, that Polak has pretty much puts the puck in the right areas and gives you opportunities to score. So we haven't really seen that yet, but I feel like if Polak can if he puts the puck in the right area and you have the right line out there, things can happen. And I think Polak did pinch early, and he's been good. He was solid, and he was hard hitting this series, or in this game. So, that's why you gave up 2 second-rounders for him.
So to steer the conversation in a slightly different direction here, this makes my case for why plus-minus is a useless stat. Tonight, Brent Burns, -1, Patrick Marleau, -1, Joe Pavelski, -1, Joe Thornton, -1. These guys all contributed big tonight, but they managed to be -1, and this makes my point why that's not a very good stat to judge on. Because to me, they were all huge. Like, I think as a whole, the whole team really showed up tonight, from top line to bottom line, top pair to bottom pair. And Jones, aside from that first save, just were outstanding. Who do you guys put as your 3 stars of the game?
For me, I got number 1 Pavs. No doubt, number 1 Pavs.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I'm going to go Martin Jones. I mean, I know he let up 3 goals, but 2 of them were off our own guys. I mean, that first one he was sprawling out, but I would go Martin Jones number 2. I mean, if we're going all Sharks players here, number 3, I'm going to have to go with Brent Burns. I mean, we took out Brendan Dillon late in the third period, and he was playing extra shifts. Brent Burns is so key to this team. I mean, he makes our defense so much more intimidating, and just he's an offensive threat at the same time.
He's a wild card is what he is.
He's our equivalent to Drew Doughty. I mean, he's not as fast of a skater maybe, but that's our equivalent to Drew Doughty. And, if he wasn't on the ice as much as he was tonight, we wouldn't have had the same result. So I would have had Pavs, Jones, and Burns.
What do you guys say, Eric and Gentry?
Yeah, I'm right up there with Pavs. Gets a star. Jones maybe, but it's tough to kind of give him when you've had 2 unfortunate bounces off of the net. Wardo, I really didn't recognize that he had 2 assists tonight, so kudos on him. I would definitely give some love to Burns. I mean, for me, I'd go Pavs, Ward. I'd go Pavs, Joan, Ward.
For me, it would be Pavs, Hurdle, and Brent Burns. You got the two pivotal goals. You got from Pavs getting the game tying and then the game winner, and then you also have that pivotal goal from Tomas Hertl to get us back into it after that really weird shorthanded chance, and then Brent Burns. I think he played a solid game tonight, and he put up the goal. Good for him. And we're needing him for those type of goals, those point shots, because if we need an answer to Doughty, and I think right now Brent Burns is our answer.
And like Richard Davalos says in the Google chat, Vancouver media stars for the third star they give it to the LA fans. Number 2 Jones, number 1 Quick. Which seems like the Vancouver media.
Yeah,
so I guess we had to weasel our win out of this.
Yeah. See,
weasel jokes, yes.
Hey, 2 goals. Hey, Tony Gallagher, that's how you lead.
He also
Back
forgot
to you.
Alexander Burrows as the second star.
Yeah, exactly. There's not even to mention, though, the St. Louis media, I think, are on my shit list the most right now for Joe Thornton getting 4 points and not even getting one of the 3 stars because they're still sore over that David Perron hit. But for my 3 stars, it's got to be Pavelski, number 1. I'm going to give one out of left field here, but Marc-Edouard Vlasic, he drew the hardest matchups all night long. So I'm looking at the analytics here. He drew the top 2 lines for the Kings, and he was effective. He was very important. He made a lot of those unsung plays. And then third star goes to Jones because he dusted off after that. That first goal was on him. That was bad. He lunged out of the net. What the heck was that? But after looking a little shaken early, he played a very strong game, saved their bacon a few times, and so, yeah, third star goes to Jones.
And Vlasic not playing for weeks, coming in tonight like he hasn't missed a step.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And +2. I know Chris just made the argument about plus minus, but Vlasic +2 tonight is something unreal. Let's go to the tweets. A couple of questions here from Chester Chivo. With the Sharks' home and away record, do you think they need to go up 2-0? Or they already do their job in the first 2, getting that road split that everybody says they would like to have?
Hell yeah! Go up 2-0. Please.
Go 4-0. Go 4-0. I don't want 3-0. I want 4-0. I can't take 3-0, then 3-1. No. 4-0.
Yeah, traditional wisdom says a split is a great way to come off the road, and there is truth to that, but if you can get 2 wins, get 2 wins. You have not done your job yet. Make it happen. If you can get 2 wins, you're in the driver's seat back home. You just need to win one of the 2. It'll probably be Game 4 because Game 3, coming off the road, they always lose that one. But
you just took it from him.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, I stole your line, Gentry.
No, yeah, just take the 2 on the road. You lose Game 3, and then you take the next 2. You take Game 4 and Game 5 on the road. Damn it.
Not that we're biased because we're going to Game 4 or anything, but yeah, no, it's one of those weird quirks as to why the heck this team struggles when they come home and see the wives and the kids. I mean,
now, here would be the bigger storyline. What if the Sharks figured out how to win at home during the playoffs? Wouldn't that be so Sharks?
It's not impossible, really. I mean, honestly, if you look at all the stats, luck has had a little bit to do with their bad home fortunes, and also they dug a hole early. So they're not as bad of a home team as some people might think. So it's not impossible, but yeah, they seem to have that odd trend of losing right after coming home from a road trip. So I'd say go if you can go 2-0 in LA, do it. Don't exhale now. Go hard Game 2. If you can win that, then you set yourself up really well coming back home.
You know what? If you can steal 1 or 2 at home, we'd be fine with that.
This would be the rare case of having to steal a game at home.
And, as ideal it would be to go back home 2-0, I think the Warriors are opening up the playoffs Saturday night, and as sad as it is, there's going to be more people watching a sure win for the Warriors and the Sharks. So how about Sharks lose that one when nobody's watching, and then they come win the other ones?
Right.
No, I say screw it. Those people don't get to watch. Yeah. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I don't.
I'll be
care
watching
either, but
I'll be watching the Sharks. The Warriors are gonna win. Like the Warriors aren't gonna be worth watching until the finals.
Yeah, no, and the other thing too, Randall, just to correct you, it was I think they start at 12:30 on Saturday for the Warriors, and the Sharks will be later at night.
oh,
The one that's going to be a concern is Game 3, where the Giants, Warriors, and Sharks are pretty much starting their games within 15 minutes of each other
all home.
in the Bay Area. It's gonna be
If
that one's
that's
gonna
not
be
a
tough.
sellout, like it has to be a sellout, obviously. But I mean, if for some reason Sharks fans don't show up, I won't understand that. Like I get it, this is a good Warriors team, but like we're gonna have the towels. We're gonna have the towels and the red lights going from the shark head.
Oh gosh.
Like that's gives me goosebumps every time, and
and I believe there
we're
will
gonna
be
have teal
shirts.
shirts.
Or teal shirts.
Yes, we're gonna have a teal out.
Oh, the towels are so
Let's-
much better. The
No,
Sharks
I
fans
agree-
never
I-
do the teal out right. I'm sorry, Sharks fans cannot do the t-shirts right. Like I remember they did the orange t-shirts that one year in Colorado, and they're waving shirts around. Like,
Well, that's because they were orange, though. I mean,
Who wants to wear orange?
Me.
no,
Okay.
That's all ducks.
I'm,
That's all
I'm
ducks.
gonna wear my Barracuda orange jersey to Game 4.
Excuse me 1 second. Back
Like,
to you, Chris.
Of all the horrible trades or all the horrible free agent signings, back to Bill Guerin. The orange in the new logo is the worst decision this franchise has ever made.
Let's not get into the orange tirade here, though, shall we? This is playoff hockey. This is playoff time. I mean, like, are you not entertained? Like, in Game 1, I said, like, I really wish I could be an impartial observer. What are you guys feeling like? Am I the only one who feels like just I wish I had no stake in this?
Oh, dude, you know, considering that this has so far been honestly, this has been the most entertaining Game 1 in all of the playoffs. I mean, other than maybe the thriller between St. Louis and the Blackhawks, this had more drama than that Game 1.
This actually had
This
lead.
had so much yeah, this had a huge implications for both franchises because look, 2 years ago there was a little stumbling block. We're not going to say what it was because we're not NBC. We're not going to, do the drinking game as to what happened. But everything happened. It was the master versus the student. It was, the core guys that were there 2 years ago against the core guys that were there 2 years ago. And obviously the Sharks came out with some gusto. Good for them. They answered, and they did it in a grinding fashion. Let's take Game 2.
You bring up something interesting about the guys who were here before. I'm sure you also have a montage during, I think it was after the first period, where almost every Sharks player to a man was like, well, we have 10 different players since that time. Does anyone else think they distributed talking points, or what's the deal with that?
The one thing I can't get my head around is Dustin Brown's like, yep, the Sharks are ready to play some big boy hockey. Like, I hate Dustin Brown so much.
you,
Hey,
Dustin
Dustin
Brown.
Brown, take a knee and shut up.
I hate that guy. He's a rat.
Yeah, did you guys see that though? Like, but they literally to a man the Vlask was like, oh yeah, well we have 10 different players the last time. Pavelski, we have 10 players.
Coach.
Literally talking about the exact number of turnover on the roster. I mean, it's debatable depending on waivers and all that stuff, but it was interesting. They all repeated the same number to a man.
It's like someone gave him a script and was just like, here, say this.
It felt a
might have been a
lot like
talking point.
political talking points, where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, here's the points you need to emphasize.
Yeah, I'm sure it was mentioned a couple of times.
So-
Yeah, no, in Dustin Brown, he's just trying to make a little snide comment, get in
Well,
the
it's-
heads of everybody.
It's no different than Drew Doughty saying, oh, we got the matchup that we want. It's like, wait, I remember when the last time a defenseman for the opposing team said that about the Sharks in the playoffs, and I believe that was St. Louis, and I believe that
It was 04.
it was 04, and who was the defenseman who said that?
Some guy named Pronger?
Yeah, And didn't he come back and eat his words? Because I believe it was a captain who answered with a huge goal, and I believe it was the second period from center ice. What's his name? Reminds me.
In 2000, yes.
Yeah.
Nolan, yeah, that
Yeah,
guy.
Owen Nolan, yeah. So don't poke the shark because we will bite.
So you're trying to tell me in LA's last game of the season when they're up 3-0 in the third period to the Winnipeg Jets, lose the
Big shot.
game in overtime, that they did that on purpose so they would get matched up against the Sharks and lose the Pacific Division? No way. That's not possible.
That would be so Kings, though. I think
Doubtful. I mean,
No.
you're always gonna try and reconcile your disappointment. If the Kings could have won that way, I mean, I think maybe Doughty maybe didn't mean as a slight even as much as like, I think the Kings love playing the Sharks, and this was mentioned the other night when we had the mayor on here. I mean, he mentioned like this is a real rivalry. This is not just a fan rivalry or the fans talk about it.
Or
These two
like a
teams do not
manufactured
like
one,
each
like
other.
Crosby and Ovechkin.
Yeah, like this is a real rivalry. Not just the fans hate each other, but these two teams do not like each other. These two teams, there is bad blood, and that's what makes it a great rivalry. And that's maybe let's give Doughty the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's what he meant, was like, we like playing these guys. Like this gets us going.
Possibly, but like going back to a tweet I saw earlier tonight, NHL Network, Pete Jensen. Meanwhile, LA Kings versus San Jose Sharks remains the holy grail of playoff hockey. I mean, 3 series in a row going to 7 games. 1 series, the away team wins all of them. Home team wins all of them. 3-0, 4-3. Like, the only other series that I can even think that would be as good, that's not even happening, would be a Canadiens-Bruins series. Like, that would just because of all-time rivalry. But out of every series that's going on right now, I don't care about Detroit-Tampa matching up last year. I don't care about Yager and Islanders. Like, I'm biased, but this California rivalry has been hot for 3 years, and tonight's game showed that it was the best first game. Yeah, Islanders-Panthers put up a bunch of goals, but this was the most aggressive game. This was the best game, and it was exactly what we expected.
Yeah, but there wasn't no storyline going into the Islanders Panthers one like there was with this one.
No.
They're just trying to. It's like, okay, well, obviously I still think that the Panthers are the kind of underdog in this in the playoffs, because right now nobody's expecting the Panthers to do much. So for everybody to be like, oh yeah, the Islanders Panthers is going to be something that's rife with storylines. It's like, come on, get off your East Coast bias and come out west, where the weather is great and our storylines are better because we have Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking as someone who's spent a lot of time on the East Coast traveling for work, I get why people don't like staying up late. Shout out to Randio. I know she watches sometimes. She's in New York. She has to stay up until like 1 or 2 a.m. to watch this. And it's hard. But at the same time, if you're covering sports professionally, you'd think these guys would spend more time doing that, because this is really a great series. Like, Blues Blackhawks the other night was really good, but there were no lead changes. It was just neck and neck hockey. This had lead changes. The Kings led, the Sharks led, the Kings led again, the Sharks led, and wow.
The NHL wants goals. They want goals.
They want goals. They want a
Chicks
good
dig the
solid game.
long goals.
And sometimes they dig them wing goals.
Hey,
Hi-yo!
Shout out to Tommy Wingles too. He took a beating from Kyle Clifford
You know
tonight.
what? I think he's that. I'm gonna take one from Bakes here. Is that he was the jam player of the game?
Yeah.
There we go.
He took those.
There we go.
Took a
He
beating,
was
and he kept a cool head, though. That's the thing, is like,
Yeah,
Right.
he
Kings
didn't
like
take
to
it-
lure you into that physical game to distract you from the fact, like they want you watching their left hand while their right hand here is just manhandling you with the puck. Like they want to get you caught up in that physical game.
If I was Peter DeBoer, I would go in and just be like, that game right there, I want you to play that for the rest of the series. Tighten up a little bit defensively, do some tweaks here and there, but how you guys kept your composure and answered back no matter what and took the lead with, in the beginning of the third, and you held on to it. That's what I want you guys to do. That's playoff hockey.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's go to some questions. Our longtime friend, longtime fan of the show, Crispy Churro with the zero. Um,
Probably our original listener, actually.
I think he is. Are you worried if the Barracuda make the Calder Cup playoffs and ruin the ice on a double header day, where they play in the afternoon, the Sharks play at night? It's a possibility that they could be playing at the same time. I would hope like hell the that they schedule around playoff games a little bit more, a little bit more with some leadway, since there's nobody in the arena, I think, until early May. But
I don't like just from working in the locker rooms like a long time ago. The number one complaint from every team was how crappy the ice is, but I don't think it could get any crappier. So I think either way we're going to be good.
Hey, turn up for dehumidifiers. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, let's hope they. Yep.
I don't know if anybody's watching that Detroit-Tampa game yesterday, but those Detroit players were falling all over the place, and that's these are warm arenas. It's the truth. They don't want the arena cold for their fans, so the ice suffers from it. And in cities like Detroit and stuff like that, the ice is hard. But, LA, San Jose is the same thing. I mean, they had a basketball game. Kobe was on that court less than 24 hours before. It's no different. I mean, if anything, the fact that the ice is out there longer and you can get more Zamboni runs, it makes the ice better.
So you're saying that the
funny thing about that is Kobe actually had more shots last night than the Sharks did.
Oh,
I will say this. So, would you say that the crappy ice played into the Sharks' favor tonight because it was like playing at home?
You could say that. I mean, honestly, what the crappy ice really does, though, if you look at just how the numbers go, is it's kind of it evens things out. Like if one team's much better than the other, it causes more of those 50-50 bounces where maybe a better team would have that crisp pass, but as opposed to it bouncing with bad ice. So really, it's kind of an equalizer. It helps muddy the waters so much where it helps the team that's not as good. So one more thing to add to the series that just makes it neck and neck.
It's not like the Detroit boards where Detroit has all those set plays where they can bounce it off perfectly. You're right. It does even more things out.
You know what? And you bring up a good point, since it's the last year that at the Joe next season. I wonder if they're gonna try like heck to bring those boards over to their new arena.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
For
gosh.
Sure. It's like their only advantage, like a baseball team making their fences shorter because they know they got a lefty swinger that's gonna hit them over. They know it's their advantage.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. All right. A question here. It is time for Slushy's Corner. Gentry can't play because he's seeing the answer right here. Don't give him any answers.
Oh God.
Did you know this one?
You should probably introduce this for the new viewers.
For those new to the program, we have fans of the show from all walks of life, all ages. Our good friend Slushy Jake sneaks in with some with some knowledge and tries to quiz us on it. So here's the question tonight: who has the most hat tricks in Sharks regular season history? Is it A, Patrick Marleau, B, Owen Nolan, or C, Jonathan Cheechoo?
That was me hitting my buzzer. I will go with Patrick Marleau.
I'm going to go with C, Jonathan Cheechoo.
Randall is correct. Jonathan Cheechoo had 9 hat tricks in his time with the Sharks in the regular season. Marleau has 4, and Owen Nolan had 3.
Marleau has 4? Of course. I think that number's wrong.
I think Cheechoo had 4 in one season. 3 of them against the Ducks.
if not more.
Marleau has a lot of 2-goal games.
Yeah, Marleau has a lot of 2-goal games. Couture has a lot of 2-goal games. But I think Marleau's had a lot more hat tricks in the playoffs as well. I think he's got, as far as I know offhand, 3 in the postseason. All right, let's check out the Google chat and the tweets here. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Oh, AJ had a good one that Jonathan Quick has still not beaten the Sharks. and the Kings in the 2015-16 season. To which I beg, so when are they putting Enroth in? Seriously, when are they
No,
putting
no.
Enroth in?
Let's keep with Quick. Like I like this. I mean, like, oh, I don't know. Like Quick can tighten up at any moment. Like he is the real deal. He has had some amazing playoff runs. I think it has a lot to do with the defense in front of him as well. But credit where it's due. He's very good. But for now, I would say let's just keep going against him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 rings for a reason. I know Corey Crawford has 2 rings too, but that's purely because of the defense in front of him. Jonathan Quick and Henrik Lundqvist are the 2 best goalies in the NHL. And, we're lucky to have Marty Jones, who was able to be his backup for a while. But, Quick's going to be there the series. I mean, we know he's going to be putting up a good game. If we could put up 3-4 goals in a game, we should expect to win that game.
All right. One of my thinkings is how is this? How does one game play off the rest of the series? I mean, we talk about it ad nauseum because it's fresh in our minds. It's one game, but how can you keep the victory tonight? How can you keep keep it going the same direction? Because it just seems like you can have so many adjustments or even over adjust in the throughout the series. Because I think this was a solid game for San Jose tonight outside the own goals.
I would say really this is the blueprint for what you want to do. Like there are some gaffes made. Honestly, like there was one Burns went down too early. That happens. I mean, we at this point, do we even bother complaining about Burns going down because that's what he's going to do? That one fluky bounce, but really, this game overall was a blueprint for how you beat the Kings. Don't get caught. Don't get caught up in their physical game. Take the hits, give the hits back, but don't let it take you off of your possession game. Keep attacking with the puck, possess the puck. That's the key. And I think this is a good blueprint. Just keep doing what you've been doing, and you will win this series.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the head there. The one thing I would like to see different is Patrick Marleau. It was one of those games where it's like, was he even playing because you didn't hear his name come up? He had a couple situations where he had the puck up, he made a couple nice moves, but then once he entered the zone, he lost the puck to the defenseman. I want to see Patrick Marleau step up in this series from all the adversity, like all the stuff he's gone through this season, not wanting to be here or whatever. Like, that's the one guy I'm going to be looking at next game to see if he shows up and makes a difference in this series. But just play the same type of game you play today, like Tommy Wingle's not getting a hot head. Brent Burns is going to be there. Marty Jones staying consistent. Not because if we have to bring up Reimer, like, he's not a bad goalie, but we're going to be in trouble in this series.
All right, I have another question, and I know this is probably aimed towards me more than anything. Mike asks, if Burnsy invited you into his house, would you go into his reptile room?
No. Hell no.
Good God, no.
Sorry, anyone who
keep me
follows me on Twitter knows I like furry animals. I don't. Ew, no.
No, I just keep me in his living room where the pizza will just keep coming.
I
There you go.
just picture Brett Burns in a half buttoned up flannel shirt with his chest hair flowing, carrying an axe, escorting you into his reptile room, and that's just not something I want to be a part of.
Here, settle human. Have another pint.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
But back to your thing earlier, Eric, that you said that how would you use this game as a blueprint for the rest of the series? It shows that A, Quick is mortal. B, that there is holes in the Kings defense and in the Kings themselves, and you can't exploit them. And C, and definitely final, is that you can play your game effectively and not taking dumb penalties, and you can answer back as long as you just keep driving to the net and just play your game more so than playing to the Kings style, which is just dumb hockey.
I wouldn't call their style dumb hockey. Like they balance it really well. Like they balance the physical edge and the they play right on the edge, but they also play really strong possession. Like, but that's what they like that two-tier like that two-headed monster is what they try to get you with. They do both. They try to bait you into the physical game. They try to get you more worried about hits than you are about shots on goal, and that's when they eat you alive. Like when they get you more distracted with that.
I will say this. If you can get under Lucic's skin, and that's pretty easy to do, then that will play more into your favor because Lucic is hot-headed. He was, one of the reasons why he's not on Boston anymore. And I'm pretty sure they miss him because of his physical game. But if you and we saw it in the season opener where he got hit cleanly by Logan Couture, and he thought, oh, I'm just gonna hit Logan Couture and get some retaliatory penalty. No. You can get under his skin, and you can get easy penalties that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, let them do the stupid shit. Don't do stupid shit back because it's so often it's the guy who retaliates who gets penalized, and that's what the Kings are counting on. Like they will take penalties in hopes that you'll retaliate, and the refs only see the retaliation. They get on the power play with the shaky penalty kill San Jose has. They can't afford to get on the penalty kill over some stupid shit. So. That's the thing. Don't get baited into that. Play your game. Play physical, but don't play over the edge.
Like I can count multiple playoff pasts where the Sharks have had a key player that gets injured due to a dirty hit where the other player does not get suspended or called for on anything on that level. But in this type of league nowadays, those hits are going to be reviewed and players are going to get suspended. And if a guy like Lucic gets suspended 1 or 2 games, like Keith missing game 1, like even though they got the win, that's a huge thing for their team. Chris Pronger got suspended in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like that stuff happens, and if these guys are going to take runs at us, go for it. Go for it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Got some tweets in from John Hoven from Mayor's Manor. We had him on last night. Sutter said after the game, once we were down essentially a defenseman. That was their chance. It was 2 face-off goals. They scored 4 times on 24 shots. We have to be better than that. And yeah, that's true. But that's how you roll. If you win those face-offs, you could set up a piece for sure early on. And essentially, that was when Martinez went out, and AG's tweeting in, "Do you think you see Martinez or McBain on Saturday night?" I still think you're going to get Martinez back.
It's too early to tell. They're going to say something vague like lower body injury. These teams aren't going to let out anything. But it's also game 2. This is a 7-game series, and it's expected to go long.
The Kings will not panic early.
No.
Like they've been there, done that. They've won 2 cups in the last 5 years. I don't think they will panic and rush him back into the lineup. If he's ready to go, he'll be there. If he's not ready, he won't be there. Now, if they get down 2-0, maybe. But they will not panic over a Game 1 loss.
No, that's true. And I will say that, yes, the Kings are built for the long haul. They're going to built to be gritty in each series. However, you've got a Sharks team that is now playing. They are playing with nothing to lose because everybody is counting them out this series. And I think that more plays into the Sharks' advantage than it does anybody else because the Kings are favored and the Sharks are coming in as the underdog, and the Sharks can shock the world. I mean, they did it in '94. They could do it again. And I'm not saying I'm going to just, start planning the parade right now, but if they play how they played tonight for the rest of the series and not get too and over their heads, and then also get it into their heads we own these guys like we did in the first 3 games in the 14 series, that could be dangerous. And I'm hoping that the Sharks have learned their lesson and they can go forth.
Yeah.
Maybe in some ways that is a good thing that it didn't come too easy.
No.
In some ways, I don't think they took their foot off the gas as much as those first 3 wins. At least 2 of them came so easy that it felt like, oh, okay, we got this. And then when it suddenly got really hard, the frustration set in and they started gripping. But
Yeah.
it's good to keep it so you have to fight the whole time. You don't get a moment to relax.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest change since that 14 series is Pete DeBoer. I mean, Joe Thornton even said, this guy's given us more days off in between games. Guys are relaxed. They're coming to the rink, ready to go. Um, it's a different team, man. This is a different team than I've been used to seeing in years, and I've been saying it all year. These guys are scoring goals that they're not usually scoring. Like, we don't score a goal to tie the game going into the third period right after letting up a shorthanded goal. That's not this team. And that was a big sign to me that this is going to be a good long series.
Yeah, if you think this series is going to be a sweep or I think Landy said maybe in 5, I just can't see it happening. But hey, if it happens in favor of the Sharks, more power to you.
I would be surprised if this is anything less than 6 or 7 games. Like if it's not, it would be like hockey would be the loser in this because the more games this goes, the better. Like this is great for hockey. As a Sharks fan, I would love to see a sweep, but yeah, I like as a hockey fan, I want more of this because this game was great. This is good stuff. It's always good stuff when the Sharks and Kings meet.
It's very fitting that we're facing a Hollywood team because Hollywood loves their franchises and they like more of them. So I don't see Hollywood wanting to end this in 4. They want to end it in 7, like Harry Potter.
Let's just hope Vlasic's health
You mean
holds up.
7.5?
Or 8, yeah, 8.
To quote Richard Davalos from the chat, we have to get this in. Hashtag SoCal sucks.
Yes. Yes. Randall, I think we cut you off. You were going to say something.
No, I was just saying Vlasic's health. That's going to be big. We can't get an injury to a big guy. Like, we've had that happen too many times too early in the playoffs, and Vlasic's already iffy. But if he goes down, I don't see us winning this series. In all honesty, their depth is too strong. Vlasic needs to stay healthy.
Yeah. Although I do feel a little more confident in if DeMello were to come in and play for somebody. I mean, not at Vlasic's par, but I don't feel like where at some time we were playing tennis in 8.5 minutes. I mean, tonight you had a lot of fairly even time on ice for the defenseman, and I think that will help in long ways.
I'm already holding my breath when Dylan's on the ice.
Would you rather have Dylan or DeMello?
Oh, well, Dylan, but just because of the experience. But DeMello's good, but, not for this playoff run. Maybe next year.
Yeah, and AJ brings up a good point. Ron got steamrolled a couple of times tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they might be going after him. And they also went after Hurdle. I mean, how did Shen not get a penalty after the whistle blew, the intent to blow whistle?
Because he's wearing the same colors as the ref.
I just
I guess we do have to touch on this, don't we?
come on, Chris. You've been holding your tongue the whole time.
I'm pretty sure all you who follow me on Twitter saw me cursing. I mean, that was half my tweets tonight. It was just, what the fuck? Like, those are some weak calls on the Sharks. Like, I think the Doughty, or not the Doughty, but the one on the Raccoon early was a little weak. But overall, the first 2 calls on the Sharks were just terrible. And then they took a goal off the board for the Sharks. Like, the Sharks should have won this probably at 2 or 3 goals. Like, I think they were the better team by a decent margin tonight. It was a close game, but they were the better team. And I think that was pretty clear. And just, yeah, that kind of shit just pisses me off.
And let's just hope that it doesn't continue on in this series, because you don't want to have that be a precedence. But at the same time, when the Sharks have their opportunities on the power play, you gotta take advantage of it.
I would say they did good enough tonight. Because I mean, like I said, going 1 for 4, that's a good night on the power play. Like, I know we'd love to have them score in every power play, but the best teams in the league are floating right around 20-25%. So they got 1, which is the key.
I think it's more important that we don't let up much more shorthanded goals than going 1 for
Yeah.
4. You know, I mean,
Right.
one for
Less
4.
shorthanded goals and less
Power
yeah,
plays.
yeah, less power play goals.
Against.
Against. Yeah, that's the thing is like, I mean, I'm sure I wasn't the only one. Like every time they went on the PK, it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, just clear the puck, man. Just clear the puck.
Wow, that was a pretty good impression of exactly what me and Gentry were going through
Oh my
tonight.
god.
He couldn't sit down tonight while watching the old game, especially in the third period.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Like, I'm just so glad that they try icing it at the end into the empty net, because you know the faceoff would have come back and you know they would have tied it. I'm just glad it was
And
contained.
it would have been Dowdy.
Or Alec Martinez makes a surprise appearance, kid from the Bay Area. Yeah, great.
Of course. Of course. Oh, and by the way, Nick Neff Tippets, no, I will not be getting an AOL tattoo of the Sharks win the Stanley Cup. I will be getting a tattoo, but it will not be an AOL tattoo.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I would honestly get a Sharks tattoo and a fan requested tattoo that received the most votes. I would. I'll say that now.
Oh, we could have fun with this.
A fan
yeah.
fan vote of a requested tattoo. Whatever. If the Sharks win the Stanley Cup, I will get it at the parade downtown San Jose.
Like while they're
I'll
going down
join
the street,
you
you'd
on
be
this.
like literally like screaming as they put the ink on you right there.
I would have to do it at the very beginning of the parade, because I don't know how I will be like condition-wise by the end of that parade. If you guys know what I'm saying, you know,
Yes.
they want you to go completely
Shit-faced.
They want you to be completely sober. Usually, when you go to get tattoos. So yeah.
This
Well,
is actually
we could start
yeah.
about
Were we drunker than Corey Crawford was when he was doing when he was
Oh,
singing
wow.
LMFAO?
Try saying
No.
like black and yellow
No.
or something like the which Bruins dude
You
was
know
that?
what it is, black and teal, black and teal, black and teal.
No, I'll still need to be able to drive home by the end. Let's just say that.
I'll just pass out in the gutter in downtown San Jose. They won't tell me away from the bombs anyway. So
It's fine. If you wear teal, nobody will bother you because they'll know. It's been a long time coming. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
this guy waited
Yes,
like
way ahead of
25,
ourselves.
30 years for this. So shit, just let him sit in the gutter and sleep it off.
Yeah, so and again, we are getting ahead of ourselves. It's still early, and we got a long ways to go, guys. Let's not get into the parade idea just yet.
Hey,
we
you
look
know
like
what?
Vancouver.
We won a game, damn it! Like, hey, we should enjoy it, live in the moment, Sharks fans, because hey, we all know how quickly our fortunes can turn.
And-
Enjoy what we get, because it seems like we get table scraps. So hey, enjoy your frickin' table scraps.
Yep.
I'm trying to enjoy this win, because the last time I was just like, that's just game one, was when we won game one against St. Louis, then lost the next four. So I'm actually kind of happy with this
I
one.
was just gonna say you won game one, and then we lost the next four to Pollock and the Blues.
So that was,
So we
that
still-
was honestly hardly
still-
shocking, because the Sharks got owned in
So-
that game. They kind of lucked into that win.
Yeah.
Great.
No. So
Already have one.
Nick Neff Teppets, we will discuss any tattoos down the road for sure.
Mhm.
With that, game two. Guess what? We're playing LA on a Saturday night. Gentry, I'll
To
start
quote
with you.
AJ, oh fuck those guys again.
Planning on being in the building, by the way.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yep, so I'll let you guys know if that happens or not.
Definitely. Send me some shots. Some twit pics when you're out there.
I'll unfortunately be with a Kings fan, but that's all right.
What?
It's all right. It's all right. I'm going to be teal, so that's all
It
that
better
matters.
be a girlfriend or something.
I'm going to keep that on the deal. Because you know what? I've been holding this in. Game 7 against the LA Kings. That was my first date with this girl, and that is now an ex-girlfriend. So
Yes. That's true.
I'm kind of just keep my mouth shut this series.
You're good. You're
I
good.
think you did tell this story in the show once.
Exactly.
But we'll save that for another time.
That was a different story.
Yeah. All right. With that, we'll go with final thoughts and what you looking forward to game 2, Gentry.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to more of the same. I'm looking forward to but a tighter defensive game. I really don't need it to be 4-3. I'd actually like to see the Sharks win the next game, or maybe the next game go like 2-1. Because then you can see the defense is tightened up, and and it comes on a few lucky bounces. But I think that if the Sharks play the way that they did tonight with just a little bit finesse on the defense, they'll go up 2-0 in the series, and what better confidence going back to SAP Center with.
Chris?
I'll just repeat what I've said a few times already, but keep doing what you're doing. Good game, Sharks. Out. You did the right things. And you know what? You won't always get rewarded for it. You can do the right things and still lose, but this is the blueprint for beating LA. Possess the puck, drive, attack the net, don't get caught up in the physical game, respond, but don't get out of control. Just keep doing that, and you can win this series, and that's what I'm counting on.
Yep, we just need big-time players to show up in big-time games. Jumbo Joe got that series winner against LA a couple years back, Not counting yourself out of the game too early. We've made comebacks before. Good goaltending, good defense, good special teams. And by the way, fellas, thanks for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Of course, we've always loved having you on, Randall. You definitely bring some insight. You definitely fit in with the crew, so we appreciate it.
We're definitely trying to send you the Dakota ring and the T-shirt for the Pucknology, secret club in the mail.
But don't tell him the handshake yet. He's not that deep.
I'm not quite there yet.
in the club yet.
We're still working on it, but
Cool.
You're definitely the front runner.
Sweet.
Yes, definitely.
Best show since Sharks Late Night Confidentiality. Been saying it.
All we need is ropes now, and then we'll
And Slappy.
And Slappy.
He could make a special guest appearance.
Oh.
Let's just say if we have another series, you will see Slappy.
Ooh.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Ooh. All right. Come on, with that being said,
on that bombshell.
Yes, you have no idea how awesome that would be. Okay, sorry, gotta refocus here. Anyways, so we take game 1. We're looking forward to game 2 on Saturday night. I would expect the Kings to come out even tougher and harder, and make sure we're got all hands on deck and make sure we dominate in the third period like we did tonight. Yeah, we only got 1 goal 17 seconds into the period, but we locked down the rest of the night. So, and we'll be back here. I think it'll be AJ, Landy, and Ian on Saturday night. So make sure you subscribe down below or to the side, however you're enjoying this. Check out Pucknology.net for all your updated info. Also check out our sister podcast, Teal Tinted Glasses. They had some previews going into the playoffs with their show. I think it came out this morning. You're going to have 4 games on the schedule, including Anaheim-Nashville, which would be a really interesting series because I think Nashville could pull the upset, but I think Anaheim's got too much firepower with their special teams. So make sure you hit all the subscribe buttons. Check us out on Pucknology. Follow us on Twitter. Randall, you're at Honor.
Yep, HAHNNERR.
Double N, double R.
Double N, double R.
Perfect. All right, and until Saturday night, don't tell your dad I'm stealing this again. Keep it real. Keep it fresh. Keep it real fresh. Turn up
Holla!
into ya. Good night, everyone.